Hey everyone, Big Markets Think Simple here. Picture this, workout clothes so comfortable and flattering that once you try them on, you think, wait, is this really activewear? That was Lululemon. They were the Chanel of yoga pants, the ultimate premium brand. Wearing their gear was like wearing a badge that said, I take care of myself. But here's the thing, this seemingly perfect brand is now in serious trouble. Growth is flatlined, the stock's been cut in half, and the founder himself publicly blasted management, saying they're destroying the brand. What happened to Lululemon? Today, we're going to trace how this company built a cult following and why that cult is falling apart right now. By the way, this video is not investment advice. It's for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Any investment decisions are your own responsibility. Are you ready? Let's go. Our story starts in 1998, Vancouver, Canada. There was a yoga boom happening, and founder Chip Wilson noticed something: women had basically nothing good to wear for yoga. He'd been in the snowboard apparel business, but seeing this gap, he decided to create yoga pants that were both comfortable and actually looked good on your body. In 2000, he opened his first store. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just a store. He offered free yoga classes, sponsored local yoga instructors as ambassadors, and built a whole community. People came in to buy leggings and ended up staying to meet people, chat, and hang out. It became like your neighborhood coffee shop, but for yoga. The target was crystal clear: women's yoga wear, aimed at high-achieving supergirls who worked hard, worked out harder, and took self-care seriously. Making them feel like working out in these clothes is actually fun, that was the key to success. Simply put, Lululemon wasn't selling leggings from day one. They were selling a gathering place for people who loved yoga. And then Lululemon absolutely exploded. Three key factors clicked together perfectly. First, the fabric magic. This was the real deal. Their Nulu fabric felt like butter the moment you put it on. Soft, stretchy, hugging your body without any compression. They had other patented fabrics like Luon and Luxtreme, all built on the same philosophy. While Nike was all run faster, focused on performance, Lululemon asked, how does it feel when you wear it? They called this the science of feel. They weren't selling clothes, they were selling a feeling. Second, community over advertising. Nike and Adidas spend millions on celebrity endorsements, right? Lululemon barely advertised, no celebrity spokespeople. Instead, they held yoga classes in stores, sponsored ambassadors, and let word of mouth do the work. Saving on ad spend meant higher profit margins and a sustainable local community driving sales. Third, smart sales strategy. Lululemon almost never went on sale. Their no-sale policy meant you paid full price. While other brands slashed prices by 50% when inventory sat, Lululemon signaled, our stuff is valuable, pay full price. This told customers, you won't lose out whenever you buy, and this brand has real value. They also controlled their own distribution. Online and company-owned stores only. No middleman markup meant profit margins way higher than competitors. These three elements meshed perfectly, and Lululemon hit its golden age. By 2022, revenue was growing about 30% annually. Store count went from 52 to 655. That's basically big tech level growth. Same store sales. How much more an existing store makes than last year? Grew around 15% yearly. The stock price shot up over 60 times since their 2007 IPO. Lululemon was literally the god of growth, the king of yoga pants. But here's the thing about parties. The crisis always shows up when things look the brightest. As the company got this big, a thought crept into management's minds. Shouldn't we get even bigger? And right at that moment, Lululemon started to change in very subtle ways. In April 2022, Lululemon announced a new growth strategy, Power of 3 x 2. The plan: double menswear and online sales within 5 years, quadruple international sales. Actually, they'd already executed the exact same plan back in 2019 and crushed it 2 years ahead of schedule. But instead of pausing or building deeper foundation, they just doubled the targets with the same playbook. Look, expanding as you grow is totally normal, but pace matters, right? Before, they'd been careful craftsmen gradually expanding. Now they looked like factory managers rushing to hit quotas. Menswear had been getting attention since 2014. Their ABC pants, comfortable like athletic wear, but office appropriate, had been growing steadily at 10 to 15% yearly. They expanded into golf and tennis. Accessories too. The Everywhere belt bag went viral on TikTok. In 2022, they launched Blissfeel, a women's running shoe, designed specifically for women's foot structure. What if all this had expanded naturally and carefully? But with these aggressive targets, Lululemon's original character started to blur. Their identity shifted from women's yoga community brand to global multi-sport brand. The exclusivity vanished. Stores stopped being community spaces and became generic sportswear retail outlets. The failed experiments hurt too. In 2020, they bought home fitness company Mirror for $500 million, only to write off $440 million in losses by 2023. Total disaster. And then the most critical crack appeared in Lululemon's lifeblood: quality. Fans who'd been sensing something was off started saying, "This isn't the Lululemon we know." And then the decisive incidents hit. July 2024. Lululemon launches Breeze Through, their first new high-performance fabric line in a decade. Best sweat-wicking and quick-dry ever, they claimed, targeting women doing intense workouts. The result? Disaster. The V-shaped seam design got destroyed. Hideous design. Do Lululemon designers even look in mirrors? Zero understanding of women's bodies. And while it dried sweat well, it lost Lululemon's signature soft touch. It felt rough and stiff. The brand's hallmarks were sleek silhouettes and buttery fabric. This was the exact opposite. Sales stopped within weeks of launch. Then came the worst incident, January 2026. They launched Get Low, an ultra-lightweight fabric, claiming weightless feel. 3 days later, all hell broke loose. The leggings were so sheer you could see underwear, even skin tattoos through them. Reviews went nuclear. Lululemon initially acknowledged the issue and stopped online sales. But days later, they added a note saying, "This product is very sheer. If you're concerned, size up," and resumed selling. Customers were furious. The company was blaming them for choosing the wrong size instead of admitting a product defect. The backlash was brutal. People felt betrayed by a premium brand they'd trusted. This is absolutely fatal for Lululemon. Their premium status didn't come from ads, it came from community and trust. Expensive, but you can trust the quality. Once that trust breaks, there's no reason to go to a Lululemon store anymore. Competition closes in, customers leave. Lululemon had a clear identity: women's yoga community brand. But in rushing to become a global multi-sport brand, they blurred their character. Add the quality issues, and people naturally started looking elsewhere. High-income core customers started seeking brands only I know about. Alo Yoga, hipper, more fashionable, luxury yoga, grabbed the Chanel of yoga position. Viore took the comfortable, stylish men's daily wear segment. And for shoes and technical sportswear, Nike and Adidas were already there. Lululemon got stuck in sandwich positioning, squeezed between Alo's lifestyle luxury and Nike's performance. Their most precious asset, being special, was disappearing. So what does this look like in reality? Lululemon's annual revenue in 2024, about $10 billion. Operating profit, roughly $2.5 billion. They're the world's third largest athletic apparel brand by revenue, behind Nike's $50 billion and Adidas's $23 billion. Pretty impressive for a company that started with women's yoga pants. But look at the trends and you'll feel the crisis we've been describing. Revenue growth, once 30% yearly, dropped to 8 to 10% in 2025. Women's wear, which used to be over 70% of sales, fell to the low 60s. Sure, menswear and other categories grew, but given the overall slowdown, it signals that Lululemon's core women customers are leaving. North America is in emergency mode. Recent earnings showed North American revenue down about 2%, with same-store sales dropping 5%. Actual negative growth. That means existing fans aren't coming to stores anymore as brand desire cools off. Inventory situation changed too. Warehouse stock grew over 10% to around $2 billion. Quality-related recalls and weak sales mean products are piling up. So Lululemon, abandoning their once iconic no-sale strategy, dramatically increased discounting through outlets and their online. We made too much section. They're eroding their own premium value. All this shows up in operating margins. Lululemon usually ran above 20% operating margins, but in Q3 2025, it fell to 17%. The silver lining, China is still growing over 30% annually, but North American sales are about $7.9 billion versus China's $1.3 billion, a 6 times difference. China's growth alone can't replace North America. As the company's struggles became visible, founder Chip Wilson, who'd stepped down after controversial comment about women's bodies, came out swinging at management and the board. His main complaints: Lululemon was becoming a brand for everyone, diluting its premium identity, and management was focused on numbers and processes over products and customers. It started with a January 2024 Forbes interview where he called the brand dilution sickening. The attacks didn't stop there. He compared Lululemon to a plane crash and sinking ship, saying financially oriented executives who only understand numbers can't make great products. That's the real problem. Finally, in December 2025, when CEO Calvin McDonald, who'd led the growth push, announced his resignation, Chip Wilson immediately declared a proxy fight. The current board is incompetent, he said, vowing to replace board members and heavily influence the new CEO selection. He launched an all-out offensive, a founder wielding a sword against his own empire. Lululemon is facing a leadership catastrophe scarier than any external competition. Facing crisis inside and out, Lululemon isn't sitting still. They've actually gone into full-scale surgery mode. Spring 2026, the most radical product reset in brand history. They're replacing 35% of their entire product line with completely new designs. Beyond stagnant North America, they're accelerating overseas expansion, growing to 200 stores in China, entering 6 new countries, including India and Poland simultaneously, using franchises and partnerships to reduce risk while increasing speed. They're pushing menswear and footwear harder to become a full-look brand. Stores are being repositioned back to community hubs, not places to sell products, but places where people gather. Add AI and data for hyper-personalization, customizing suggestions for each individual customer. On paper, it looks systematic and smart, but one critical question remains. Are these strategies reviving what Lululemon used to do best? Or are they just another layer of complexity, making the problem worse? Let me wrap this up. Lululemon once dominated with unbeatable fabric technology and a community fan base nobody could replicate. They were the symbol of premium. Now, amid quality scandals and North American stagnation, they're being tested on what made people love them in the first place. Can Lululemon reclaim its identity? Or will it become just another sportswear brand that had its moment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this was helpful, please subscribe and like. Thanks for watching.